So, hi everybody, welcome to this meeting. For the first time, we have a meeting on Wednesday evenings in India. And we usually start these kind of meetings with a guided meditation. So we do it now also. So we just sit comfortably and close our eyes. We don't have any support behind the head. Otherwise, it's easy to fall asleep. Otherwise, just sit comfortably. And just landing on this spot, so to speak. When we sit like this, we notice how things are rising and falling within us. The sound of this voice coming and going. Maybe some experiences in the body coming and going. Thoughts, of course, coming and passing. Usually we are very fascinated by this. This is our life from morning to evening. Just new things are coming and passing away from morning to evening. Experiences, feelings, body sensations, and thoughts. In this meditation, the non-doing meditation, we're simply not fascinated by this at the moment. We, so to speak, leave it alone, that it has its own life. We allow the moment to be exactly as it is. We're not trying to change anything. We're not trying to search for anything. We don't try to push anything away. And no ideas how it should be or not should be. We just leave the moment as it is. Everything is allowed to come and go as it does already. Even thoughts are allowed to be here. They are coming and they are passing. But we are not interested in anything which is coming here. There's no analysis, no interest in anything. The thoughts are also allowed to be here, but we are not interested in the thoughts. We're not interested in anything for the moment. We're just sitting here, allow the moment to be as it is, and doing absolutely nothing. Any thoughts are grabbing your attention, we just remember the instruction. We are not interested in them, but we don't push them away. We don't do anything with the thoughts. And if it's a really interesting thought, we can say to ourselves, so to speak, oh, it's a very interesting thought, but I will think about it after the meditation. In this moment, I'm not interested in anything at all. I've just allowed the moment to be as it is and not doing anything at all. And if thoughts are rising, we treat them in the same way as everything else. We just allow them to be here. We don't try to fix them. We don't run away from them. We don't push them away. We don't ignore them. Just allow them to be here as everything else. It's the same with other sensations in the body, maybe, or memories coming to the surface, or lights, or whatever comes here. Everything is allowed to be here exactly as it is. We're simply not interested in anything of this. We can think about afterwards, but just now, not interested in anything, just let the moment be as it is, and doing absolutely nothing. Okay, we can take 1 or 2 minutes to come out of meditation. Okay. So the message you know by now, most of you, you're already free. You're already liberated. Just a matter of discovering it. Right here, right now. And this non-doing meditation, we're stepping aside a little bit. By not being interested in anything particular, let the moment be as it is, not doing anything. Then the thinking mind is not so active anymore. It's not grabbing us so much. There's no protest of the present moment that it should be different from what it is, usually not happening. Your meditation. There's no idea that I have to fix my life. I need to. Responsible me. That is usually not so active either. There is usually not any negative beliefs about ourselves. I'm not good enough. I will not make it. I'm a loser. I'm not worthy of liberation, or whatever it is. These thoughts are not active either, usually. And with this thinking mind is not active, not any if awful thoughts about the future, usually never coming also, not very much, as the future have to be awful. And when these 4 parts of the thinking mind, thoughts about the future, thoughts about the present moment, thoughts about ourselves, and thoughts about the responsible me, when they are not active, then something else is seen. Something else which is here all the time, a place that we're usually not aware of. Some place of silence, some place of peace, some place of feeling of being home, maybe some joy even coming, feeling safe, no worry about the future here, no negative thoughts about ourselves here. It's a beautiful state. We're coming closer to how it really is. Maybe we see that place which is beyond it all. A place which is totally untouched by what happens in the story. And then we come out from the meditation and come back to so-called normal life. It seems to this beautiful, harmonious place, this blissful, loving being, sense of being here, present, seems to fade, maybe even vanishing. And we have to ask the question, why is it so? If I'm already liberated, so to speak, why is it fading when I'm not meditating? Should I be in the cave all the time? Definitely not. We don't want to be in a cave all the time and be isolating. No. We just have to ask ourselves, why is it actually fading? And the answer is thinking. The thinking which is not active during the meditation, the thinking of the awful future, the protest of the present moment, the thinking that I'm not good enough, and the thinking I have to, I need, I must. These thoughts are suddenly grabbing attention again when we come out from meditation. So then it is the second part in what we are doing here, besides meditation, to discover this beautiful place of being inside. We also have to question the thinking when we are in activity, to discover this place of pure, loving, blissful being, which is already there, shining behind all this thinking, which is overshadowing it because it's so grabbing. And we have been doing it in many ways in these sessions. They are available on YouTube as videos. And the topic today was the responsible me, because we have the idea that I have to make the right decisions. So what is this? What is the right decision actually? Well, I discussed inside myself, should I choose A or should you choose option B? The option A has these kind of consequences, and option B has these kind of consequences. Okay, after some discussion inside, the decision is coming. I choose number A, and the decision is made. What is all this? It is thinking. All this is thinking. Maybe there are some kind of feelings included in this process, but this decision made, at final decision made, is a thought. So I have to make decisions. Is it really true? So if we go to the basis of decisions, which is thinking, where do the thoughts come from then? Oh, but I'm creating the thoughts. Is it really true? What we do here is to question our beliefs about how it really is. And we have the idea that I am creating thoughts. Is it really so? If you have one thought, we can do it together. If you have one thought just now, whatever it is, the first one which comes to surface just now, and then you look, did you see any process of creation of that thought? Did you see a me, a person, a me, which is now I will create that thought with this specific content. I'm now preparing it for being created, and now I'm creating it now, and now it comes to the surface as a thought inside. Do you see this kind of process going on? Or can you see that the thought seems to arise without us seeing the process of the creation of it? This is interesting because it means that we can't see or say that we are creating the thoughts. And if you can see this in this moment, or any moment, it's a huge step towards liberation. Because the idea that there is a separate me, person, who is creating thoughts seems not to be true when we investigate it. And this is not a theory. It's not a philosophy at all. There is no teaching here. It's just investigating together and to see that the idea that I am creating the thoughts seems to have no evidence of it. You can do it as much as you want in different situations. You will notice that you don't see any process of creation just arising. You could say according to circumstances, maybe. A thought is arising, the body is hungry and some thought's coming, oh, I know pizzeria around the corner. So you can say that the thought arising according to circumstances is actually not really true, but we can say that now, just for the sake of continuing here. But what we see is that we don't create thoughts actually, and we believe that we are doing it. So when we go back to the decision making, it's a little bit of an interesting insight. If we are not creating the thoughts, and decisions is thinking, made a decision, I make this decision, I will go with option A. I will go to Ireland. That thought is actually arising by itself as well. And in discussion before, maybe some kind of discussion, oh, if I go this, I go this, and so on. These are also thinking, we just, maybe you saw it, every one of you, that you can't see that you are creating any thoughts, which means that the discussion which is going on inside us before a creation of or this final decision is actually also coming by itself. So we are not creating any decisions. And this is, of course, huge, because it means that, are you responsible then? If you are not responsible for the decision made, and the manifestation may be in some kind of events or body moving, doing something, talking something, walking, whatever it is. If you are not responsible for creating that kind of decision, how can you be responsible at all? And the truth is that you are not. There is no responsible me. And we can make a little bit of an experiment here, just to test this. You can say to yourself in your own language, how would this moment, how would this moment be felt if there is no responsible me? I will repeat it once more. You just sit here now, and you just say to yourself in your own language, and then you let it sink in and just wait. How would this moment be felt if there is no responsible me here? Is there anyone who wants to make a comment on this? Anything that happened when you use this little tool? Is there still a responsible me here? The important thing to understand is that we're not trying to change the thinking. We're not trying to fix the thought. We're not debating. We don't discuss the thought. Oh, it's not true. You have to understand that you have been thinking wrongly for many, many, many years, since your childhood, actually. We're not going there. We just go somewhere else beyond the thinking, because we can never win that battle. The thinking mind has been believing this since you were a child. It will never say, oh, sorry, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? It will never happen. You can't wait for the thinking mind to change position. We have to go somewhere else. That's what we did. We went to the experience instead. We went to life here. Leaving the head. Coming to the present moment. And asking ourselves, how would it be felt if there is no responsible me? If I don't believe that there is a responsible me. And then maybe you could feel, oh, but this is quite a little bit of a freedom here. This is what people usually see. I don't know in your case, but maybe it is. Feels good. Oh, I don't have to anymore. I don't need to do anything. I'm not responsible for anything happening. And I have not been responsible in my whole life, and I will never be responsible anymore. I can just relax, sitting down and just enjoy the ride. Some kind of state which is quite comfortable, relaxing, and totally different, 180 degrees. Totally different. A bit complete, as Dimitri says here. Some kind of completeness and comfortable. And this is a huge change of the state. And this, my friends, this is reality. This is reality. This is how it really is. It's not some kind of hypnosis from my side here. We just say, how would it be felt if I don't believe that I'm responsible? So then we have a little bit of a choice here. Huh? Yeah. Being in this relaxing feeling, I don't believe the thought, or to go back, to believe the thought, oh, I'm responsible. I have to, I need to, I have to make right decisions. I have to control, I have to fix, I have to do. Then you have a choice now. Do you want to believe the thought, I'm responsible? Or do you want to lean to that state when you not believe in that it is true? The only thing we didn't change any thought. The only thing we did was to go to a place and just ask how it would be felt, how life would be experienced. If I don't believe that thought that I am responsible. And you saw a huge change. So the choice is yours. And if you're not a masochist, probably you will choose the second one, because that is much better state to live in. So do that then. Do that then. Be there. But of course, it's easy said and done. What will happen when the Zoom is off? Now go back to so-called normal reality again. And this I have to, I need, I must, I have to do. I'm responsible. It's a risk, of course, that is thoughts, because it's only thoughts, it's only in the head. And these thoughts, because they are so extremely powerful, that they grab attention. Again, what should we do then? Oh, now it's coming again. And now you have a tool. Now you have a tool. And you can use this tool in this situation. When you see this tendency, you're an expert on yourself. When you see this tendency that now this I have to, I need to, I must not only as a thought, but as a feeling. It's a feeling. I must make the right decision. I have to do, I have to control. When you see these tendencies coming to the surface, and you mostly be also feeling in the body, this must in the body. When we see these tendencies, these symptoms, these signs, you can go to this tool either before it becomes a turmoil, storm, or directly afterwards, because you cannot use it in the middle of the storm. But we can do it a little bit afterwards, even hours the same day, because it's there in the system still, even if it's not so clear anymore, but it's still there. So you just do it. You just sit down wherever you are. You don't have to be home in your room. You just, wherever you are, you just sit down. You can actually doing it standing up also if you can't sit down. You can do it with open eyes or closed eyes. It doesn't matter what is most convenient for you in a situation. You can do it in a cafe or whatever you are. It's not so easy to do it when people are talking to you and expect some kind of response. But otherwise, when you have a little break, it takes 1 minute. But we have to do it in the situation when these feelings and intention of the body and maybe also other destructive beliefs are coming to the surface. Okay, now it is here again. So how would this moment be felt if I don't believe that I'm responsible? Or a version, how would this moment be felt if there is no responsible to me? Just let it sink in, so to speak, and wait. And you will come back to this moment you are now, maybe. Many of you, you're coming to the present moment. You're coming to the now. Everything is fine. Decisions are coming by themselves. We don't have to, sometimes we can wait, but we always sometimes wait for decisions, aren't we? We just notice that the decisions are coming, arising, seemingly, according to circumstances, by themselves. And why we're doing this tool is two functions, not only because we feel much better in the moment, which we do, or we can cope with our daily activities in a better way. There's another function, and that is that we, by doing this, is taking away the power of the thought. We're taking away the charge of this thought, which has a grip, have a grip on us for the whole life. I am responsible. So we are taking away the power and charge of this thought also by using this tool as much as possible. And you will notice that the time between these situations occurring again, the time will be spread, will be more time between. And then one day it doesn't have any charge. Maybe the thought will be in the system forever, but doesn't have any power to grab us. And there will be no emotions arising connected to this. There will be no attention in the body arising connected to this. You are free of this power of these thoughts. And then you start to enjoy life more and more and more and more. Appreciate it. We're here to enjoy, so to speak. Of course, life is to be enjoyed, appreciated. This is one of the tools that we are using to take away the power of this responsible me, which is usually very pushing on our shoulders and makes the present moment not very comfortable at all, maybe even awful. Okay, I think I will stop there. Okay, we have a little question from Julia here. Had a very relaxing feeling. But, you know, this is always coming. And we should be aware of this. But the thinking mind is protesting. It has been planting this thought in you since childhood. And now we're saying that there is no responsible me. What? Impossible. I've been saying to you that you are responsible from when you day where you're born almost. And suddenly 180 degrees, there is no responsible me. No. It's impossible. If we listen to the thinking mind about this, we will never see the freedom. And the reason is that the thinking mind doesn't know anything about freedom. The thinking mind doesn't know anything about truth. The thinking mind doesn't know anything at all. Nothing. It's just a practical and creative tool and gives us advices based on the past experiences. And we know how the past experiences were. So it tries to protect us, take care of us. Intention is good, but it gives us advices. Oh, you remember how it was last time you did this? So it tries to give us advices, which is usually based on negative thinking, because you don't know anything about the future. No one does. Your thinking mind doesn't know anything. If you ask the thinking mind, do you really know anything about the future? It was, no, not really. I just want to take care of you, help you a little bit. Yeah, but don't give me any negative advices about the future, please. So the question from Julia is how I can be not responsible. Then I would do nothing in my life, no work, just fool around. Maybe fool around is not so bad, Julia, but I understand your question. Then I would do nothing in my life. Okay. So let's go further then. If you go in the city and your body is hungry, signaling food, signaling hunger. A thought is arising. Oh, I'm hungry. We're usually saying that I am hungry, although we know that it's actually body which is hungry. But okay, we can use that if we know what we mean. Well, I remember it's a pizzeria around the corner or salad bar. Then the body obeys because they are cooperating. Huh? The mind and the body are cooperating. It's actually one unit. It's only when we talk about it, it seems to be two, but they're actually one unit, body and mind. So the thinking is helping the body to survive, to navigate in this world, and the body is obeying the thought which says, okay, let's go to that salad bar. It's a thought coming. Huh? So the body goes there, gets food, gets good, feels good, satisfied. Where is the doer in this? Huh? Where is the personal doer in this? The question that you had, Julia. I will not do anything. Have you ever done anything? In this simple example, the thought is arising according to circumstances. Some action is taken, doing something. But we don't have to have some kind of idea about me doing anything. We don't see any me doing anything here. Or what I'm creating the thought. Oh, yeah, this is what we just saw before, 15 minutes ago, that we cannot see that I'm creating the thoughts. So the thought is arising seemingly by itself, automatically, according to circumstances. And in this case, with the hunger of the body, the thought is just arising according to the circumstances of hunger. There's no me doing anything here. But I'm moving the body. Are you? Do you see at the me here moving the body? Or is it the body moving? If we say, I'm walking on the beach, is it you walking on the beach? Or is it the body walking on the beach? Is it you eating? I am eating, don't disturb me. Are you eating or is it the body eating? So far, we haven't seen that there is any doer here. And the truth is, you have to test it yourself, of course, in your daily life. But the truth is that there is no doer. You haven't ever done anything in your entire life. That's quite radical to say, of course. But you have to discover it in your life. But this is actually the truth. There is no personal doer. Who is paying for the pizza? Yeah, that is a following up question coming. Who is paying? Well, look at this. We look at it. Pizza is coming. The body takes up the wallet. By the thinking, the wallet is in the purse. Well, the purse is opened by the body, takes up money and put it on the desk. And get some change back and put it in the wallet. The thinking and the body is cooperating, is putting that money which is needed for this pizza. So let's see here, Julia, what you say now. In order to pay, I had to do something, to work and to be responsible in the past. Yeah, but it is just postponing the question a little bit. Huh? I have to work to get money to get to that pizza situation. Okay. So you need to work. What is that? The alarm clock rings in the morning. The body wakes up and puts the hands on the alarm clock. The body goes, and the thinking is coming. Oh, I would like to sleep more, but I have to go to work. And we just saw that we can't see or say that we are creating any thoughts. So the body, with help of the mind, goes to the shower and to the breakfast and goes to work. Where is the doer here? Where is no doer? The same as the animals. The animals are thinking. They have some needs to be fulfilled. They don't use language, of course. And we actually also thinking without language very much more than we think when we see. Just try to find some solution to the problem at hand. Needs of the body in this case, the same with animals and same with us. So do you have anything more to say now, Julia? Okay, thank you very much. You can protest more. It's very good to have these questions, so it becomes clear that we are believing something which is not true. This is, of course, what we do in these sessions and individual sessions. We're questioning the belief about life, question belief about us. And we will see that we are actually not creating any souls. That's for we are not making any decisions. We're not doing anything. But one thing more before we close this topic. What about control? I think you touched that, Julia, when in your comments. What about control? We have to control, no? I have to control, of course. I want to avoid this situation. I want to avoid this person. I have to tell the employees it has to be done before 5 o'clock. And if this happens, I have to make a backup plan. This is control. Just examples of control. What is this? Thinking. I have to avoid that person, a thought, or situation, thought, talking to the employees, thought, making backup plan, thought. So control is based on thinking. We can call it controlling thoughts if you want to, but they're still thoughts. And we just agreed 25 minutes ago that we can't see when we investigate. We just investigate. It's not a teaching here. It's no teaching. We just investigate how it really is. And we see that we can't see that we are creating the thoughts, which means, can be a little bit weird to see it, but we have to logically conclude, of course, that if I don't create any thoughts, it means that I don't create any controlling thoughts either. Controlling is there. We don't take away the control now. Huh? The controlling to have the purse with me when I go to pizzeria, or what is it now? Here it is. I put it here. Huh? So the controlling thoughts is there. The controlling action is taking place. But there is no me creating the thoughts. And this is, of course, a little bit strange, because the idea of control is based on me being controlled. What is it else? What is it otherwise? If I'm not controlled, how can we speak about control otherwise? And then it's just a thought, a controlling thought, but still just a thought. So there is no me in control, which means there is no control. There is no control. If by control we mean I am not in control. Things are just arising and falling. Thoughts are just arising and falling according to circumstances for practical purposes, maybe, or creative purposes, or whatever. Decisions are also coming by themselves according to circumstances, we can say. And controlling thoughts are also coming, depending on what is needed to be controlled. And there is no one doing anything. There's no one moving in the body. This can be quite relaxing to see this. And we can conclude by using a little bit of a tool here, just as experimenting. Huh? How would this moment be felt if there is no personal me at all? You just let it, just say it to, translate to your own language. Say it to yourself. Let it sink in, so to speak, and just wait. How would this moment be felt if there is no personal me? You can actually wake up now by doing this. See your liberation. How would this moment be felt if there is no personal me? Feel it. Is it really possible? Can it really be this way? I mean, it's impossible. I've been thinking my whole life that I'm doing things, I'm responsible. Well, when we look, we just have to realize, we have to realize this, when we investigate. We don't see any role of this personal me. We don't see any function of this personal me. This is what we see when we look. So what should we choose then? To believe the thought, which is saying the one thing, or to see what we actually see? And usually, in other things in life, we have this kind of opposite also happening. We can use this situation. You're looking at a screen, for instance, and the thought is saying, there is no Zoom meeting going on. And the observation from your thought, from your eyes is, there is a Zoom meeting going on. What do you trust? Do you trust the thought which says there is no Zoom meeting going on? Or do you trust the observation that it's a Zoom meeting going on? And usually we trust our experience when it collides with the thought. The earth is obviously flat when you look out through the window. So the thought is the earth is flat. But the observation, another observation made from above, see it is actually not true. The earth is flat is just a thought. But the further observation shows that it is round. And then we trust the experience, the observation. So it's the same here. And of course, you have to decide, it's your life. If you want to trust the thought which says one thing, that it is responsible me, and so on and so on and so on, or how it is felt when you don't believe this thought of a person me. So you can do the same as we did with responsible me. If this feeling you have now, the experience you have now, how would this moment be felt if there is no person me at all? If you feel that something is happening, you can use this tool also. In any situation. Because the truth is that this person me is active from morning to evening. It starts in the morning, I am hungry. No, you're not hungry. The body's hungry. Then it's hundreds of me from morning to evening. We have just covered some of them here. The victim me, the wounded me, the controller me, the decider me, the thinker me, the not seeing me, the not respected me, the big me, the fantastic me, all kinds of roles from morning to evening, hundreds. And we all believe them are true because we were taught to believe in this. But there is no evidence for it when we observe. So you can use this tool if you want to. How would this moment be felt if there is no person me? You can do it when you don't feel good. You can do it when you feel good even. Because even when you feel good, there's still a person in me there in belief. Oh, I feel so good. Oh, it's a fantastic dinner. I feel so good. Thank you. Who is this one who feels good? Still a belief in me. So liberation is to see that there is no personal me. When that is seen, oneness is shining by itself. The oneness state, this is already there shining behind every thought we have about separation. Oneness means no separation. And separation means believing that there's separate me. as long as this is believed to be really true, this oneness is not seen usually. Maybe as glimpses, but not permanently. So by using these tools, we're taking away the charge, the power of these thoughts, and oneness will shine. Just before concluding, it doesn't mean that you don't exist, but you're not doing anything. You are here as a feeling of I am here. I exist. I live. I'm present. I'm aware, you could say. Not really true, but you can say that. Sense of being here. We're not denying that one. Sense of me being here. But you don't do anything. You're not responsible. You're free. Whatever happens, you're always free, untouched by what happens in the story. We have been going through this before. I will not go into more details about this part. Just mention it. To not be scared by the thought, oh, I don't exist. Of course you exist. We just have to understand what we mean when we say that there is no personal me. Of course you are here, but not as a doer and responsible. Any questions around all this? Everything is totally clear, Egle? So we will continue this Wednesdays also. We have Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday with different topics. Okay, that's one question. Thank you. Julia, what if there is a guilt about, oh, went away here. If there is a guilt about the past experiences, so-called mistakes? Yeah, it's an interesting question. Quite deep one. Guilt. What is guilt? Without going too much into psychology here, but you can just see that guilt is connected to a person. If there is a person, there can also be guilt and shame and being a victim and being hurt, not being seen, and all that kind of things. Huh? So the guilt is connected to a belief in a person. If there is no person, there is no guilt. But of course, in the past, there was guilt. Yes, it was guilt because there was a belief that there is a person who is guilty or feels ashamed or something. It's a very important stuff you bring up here, Julia, because in the memories that we have, in the memories, it's not only a memory, for instance, of guilt, feeling of guilt, and maybe see the situation in front of you as a picture, remember what happened, and the parents or whatever, or siblings, or feeling guilt. It's not only the feeling there and the situation, it's also a belief in a person there. It's in the memory. So when the memory is coming to the surface in the now as an adult, there is also the belief in a person there. So every memory we have is actually reinforcing the idea of personal responsible me. Because guilt is, of course, built on the idea that there's someone who's responsible. It's built on the responsible me belief. So, of course, the child, for instance, in childhood, and let's not talk about past experiences, of course, the girl or the boy felt guilty because there was an idea that there is a person here. They don't think in that way, of course, but they know that the parents are looking at you and saying, how could you do this to your brother, or whatever it is. And there's a feeling of guilt coming. They are looking at you. They know, she knows, he knows that there's about this here. And they feel they are here living. They feel they are here existing, having this body. Guilt usually not coming before, I don't know, Julia, you know better, if it's coming 3 years old or something. It doesn't come before. It doesn't come before the belief in a person who can be feeling guilty otherwise. So the guilt is connected to a person. So in the memories, the person belief is active there and comes to the surface again. That's why the memories can be very tricky here, because it reminds us about an illusory idea of a person. So when you see now as an adult that there is no person for me, if you can see that, be open for that possibility, which seems to be impossible. But with the observation, you can see maybe it is not important. Maybe it is like that. Maybe that's only belief I have had since childhood. If you can see this, there will be no guilt ever arising again. There will be no shame arising again. And there will be no blame. If people are blaming you, it doesn't hook to anything, because you know there's no one to blame, because you are not responsible for these decisions coming and the actions follow it. Is that the answer to your question? Yeah, thank you. It's very good to question all this as we do now. So to make it clear what is actually the truth here, and how we are believing the thoughts coming from the thinking mind, negative thoughts about life, about ourselves, about the future, about the present moment, and our responsible me, and so on. To see what the thoughts are doing to us and makes our life unbearable when we believe them to be true. And unfortunately, most of people on earth, they are believing these negative thoughts about themselves and life and others. Of course, there's some kind of extension of this idea. There's many extensions of these ideas, of course. We cannot go through them all. It's just one to like to mention. It is the blaming of the parents. We are blaming the parents for all kinds of things, especially when they're grown up. How could you? How can you treat me like this? How could you say like this to me? We are blaming them, believing that they did something consciously, that they did something, that they really was responsible for what they said and what they did. It's not easy to take some, maybe, but it is a consequence of it, of course. As the blaming is stopping more and more of the parents, and blaming our friends and blaming our partners. All blaming comes more and more to a stop. Little bit of a process. This is just one consequence of seeing, when we look, that we don't see any personal responsible me. So is there anybody who wants to have a final comment? Otherwise, we see each other on Saturday, Sunday, and next Wednesday. Thank you very much for today. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stefan.
Bye, Chris.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jolanta. And thank you, Julia. Thank you very much.